Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is lecture 14 of Organizational Behavior of Unit 4. The topic I'm going to cover in this lecture are organizational change. I'm going to discuss definition, features of organizational change, then factors of change, then factors influencing organization change. Next will be process of organizational change, then types of organizational change. So I'm going to cover the topic of organizational change in this lecture of Unit 4. So starting with definition of organizational change. Organization change is the process of changing an organization's strategies, processes, procedures, technologies, and culture, as well as effect of such change on the organization. Now comes features of change. First feature is movement from one state of balance to another. First feature is change involves moving from existing state of balance to new level of equilibrium. It disturbs the old equilibrium and develops a new equilibrium where new ways of working become part of the system. Then second is in whole or parts. So organization may involve change in some parts of the organization or organization as a whole. Even if change is introduced in a part of the organization, it affects the entire organization. So change in one part, for example, technology requires change in learning of people, may be structured to adopt that technology. The third feature is pervasive. The process of change is not restricted to one organization or one country. It is worldwide phenomena. It is everywhere. So the whole world, all countries, every organization, its members and all individuals change their pattern of working. However, the nature and magnitude of change is different for different organizations. Then fourth characteristic is responsive to environmental factor. Change is affected by factors external and internal to the organization. It is both affected by external and internal factors of the organization. Then comes continuous process. Change is not a one-time process. Organization keep changing their policies to survive and grow in the competitive market. While some changes are minor and get absorbed in the system, though internal changes and major changes are introduced with change agents. Then next feature is essential activity. Change is not a force that organization may or may not respond to. If organization want to survive, change has to be accepted by them. They can, however, plan the change or react to change. The former approach to change is conducive to organizational development and growth. Then comes change agent. Change is initiated by the change agents. Change agent can be internal or external to the organization. Internal change agent can be top executive of the organization, and whereas external agents are outside experts or advisors appointed by the executives to initiate the change process in the organization. Now the next topic is forces of change and factors influencing organizational change. First, forces of change. There are mainly two forces of change. First one is driving forces. These forces drive the organization to initiate the change. They encourage the organization to accept environmental changes. So need for higher productivity, commitment to work, desire for promotion, and career development are the driving forces that encourage people to accept change. Then second is restraining forces. These forces restrain organization to accept change. Organization continue with their current working standard as people resist change. Laziness, habits, precedents, domestic problems, and routine nature of work are the restraining forces that discourage people to accept change. To survive, grow and develop in the industry, firms spurs the driving forces and reduce the restraining forces. So this will help them reach a new level of equilibrium which will be favorably accepted by the organizational members. So these are two forces of change: driving force and restraining forces. Now, the next topic is factor affecting organizational change. Change is the essence of organizational life. Organizations have to anticipate or respond to change to be successful in the long run. The factors that necessitate change fall into two categories. First is internal factors. Factors internal to organization are as follows. First is efficiency. Organization want to perform better, earn more profits for the owners, employees and shareholders. This is possible if they consistently review their policies and recognize their structure to do better. Change is therefore desirable to achieve higher level of efficiency. Now the second internal factor is control. People at high managerial posts want to retain control over organizational activities. They have their own philosophies and ways of working. They introduce new organizational designs and control systems which are followed in the organization. Then comes leadership. So dynamic managers introduce change because they want to lead the market. Change is one business force, others to adopt the changes. Then comes internal pressure. Attitude of employees also enforce change. Dissatisfaction with the working conditions, pay structures, and internal personal relationship reflect neglect behavior towards managers, which may force employees to change their policies, procedures, and strategies. So, change is therefore enforced to develop cordial relations in the organization. Then, next internal factor is change in workforce. Changes in workforce. Changes in the managerial personnel also require the organization to change its values and philosophies. Changes in operative personnel, like new workers who are more educated, skilled, and competent, also require the organization to change its values and belief to match those who join the organization. There may be changes in leadership styles and motivation system to deal with knowledge workers. Then next is internal inefficiencies. Organization may change their structure because of internal inefficiencies like imbalance between narrow and wide span of management, centralization and decentralization, line and staff relationship, internal and external environment, then communication system, etc. So improvement in these areas require changes in the organization structure. Now comes external factors, because till now we have discussed internal factor which influence the organizational change. Now external factors. Survival of organization depends on its active interaction with the environment. Every organization affects and is affected by others, be it organization or supplier or shareholders or customers, government or trade union. Thus, an organization has to give due consideration to its own goals and also the goals of those external to its working. In order to survive in the changing environment, organizations have to change their production processes, labor management relationships, departmental functions, etc. in response to changes in technological, political and economic factors, etc. So some of the external factors are, first is market factors. Organizations operate in the volatile markets. Various market forces related to buyers and competitors affect competitive position of the organization and promote changes to remain competitive in the market. So factors relating to buyers are demand, changes in consumer taste and preferences, income of consumers, etc. And those related to competitors are policies of competitors, better products, suppliers, etc. New companies promote diversification, product deletion, disinvestment, core competencies to gain distinctive advantages, etc. The second external factor is economic factor. So changes in economic conditions, exchange rate, interest rate fluctuation, fiscal and monetary policies, inflation, and cost of living necessitate changes in the organizational policies. Then comes social factors. The norms for pollution, safety, working condition, health consciousness, geographical movement of workers, their age composition, education, etc. are the social factors that necessitate changes in the organizational policies. Comes technological factors. In modern world, the modern world is facing constantly changing technology, information system, computerization, and decision support system. If an organization fail to update their technology and management, they will not be able to survive in the market. So these technological factors necessitate organization to change their technology too. Then comes political factors. Business enterprise and government activity interact with each other. Changes in government policies with respect to taxation, corporate governance, new laws, court decisions require the organization to change their policies according to these regulations. Then come natural factors. Natural calamities like flood, earthquake also require change in the policies of the organizations. Social responsibilities are part of organizational operations which change according to the need and of environment. Providing medicines, clothes, food, monetary help may not be part of organizational social agenda, but natural factors may require to do so. Now, educational factors. Educated employees, shareholders, labor union, customers, suppliers require organizations to change their structure to come up to their expectations. New employees, new managerial personnel, new suppliers with different education levels and background necessitate organization to change their policies to accommodate them. Then comes global factors. Globalization and liberalization require changes in the policies of organization to compete with the multinational corporation operating in the home country and the host country. So companies of different countries have different culture and social value. Since they interact with each other in the globalized world, changes have to be made in the organizational processes to be interactive with each other. Now the next topic is process of organizational change. There are three processes or steps involved in the change, organizational change. First is unfreezing. Step 1 is unfreezing. Unfreezing makes the need for change inevitable to members so that they can become ready to accept the change. It developed in people a belief that present system of working is undesirable and change is desirable. It motivates people to move from the old and traditional ways to new and modern ways of working. Now second step is changing or moving. Once people are ready to accept the change is initiated by learning new ways of doing things. New information is collected, new concepts are developed, members are trained to implement the concept, and present perspective and attitudes are changed. New behavior is promoted, new belief and new attitudes are developed, and the existing value system is changed. Members identify themselves with the changed value system and internalized them by changing the behavioral norm. Thus, changes are introduced and people adjust their behavior to the changed norms. Now, the third step is refreezing. Though change is desirable, people generally resist change. Despite learning new ways of doing things, they tend to revert to old behavior after working in the change environment for some time. Refreezing attempts to make change permanent till there is need to reintroduce change. It means locking the new behavior pattern into place by means of supporting or reinforcing mechanism so that it becomes the new norm in the organization. People realize that change will affect their future behavior. So reinforcement of behavior is therefore the aim of refreezing. This can be done in the following ways. Managers motivate the subordinate to accept change as a permanent feature by relating changed behavior with reward system. Second is manager understand the need of people and relate them with the organization lead. Fulfillment of organizational goal is viewed as a mean of fulfilling individual goals. Then C is managers understand the reason why people resist change and overcome their resistance. Then the next topic is type of organizational change. There are two types of organizational change. First is reactive change, second is a planned change. Reactive change is it is a change in reaction to an event. This change is initiated due to pressure of external forces. Changes are made in responses to situations and primarily unplanned in nature. Managers make quick changes to deal with the problem as they do not have enough time to analyze the situation and prepare a well conceived plan. Changes are made in response to environmental event, threat, opportunity. For example, if an epidemic calls for immediate supply of drugs by the pharmaceutical industry, it is a reactive change. Then comes planned change. It is a systematic change wider in scope than reactive change. It follows a proactive approach to change. Managers increase organizational effectiveness by anticipating the forces causing change and plan ahead to deal with them. They anticipate environmental threats and opportunities and carry out the change process in a phased manner. These changes are important for survival of the firm. They involve huge financial and non-financial resources and are planned in a scientific and systematic manner. So planned change is a change that involves action based on a carefully thought out process for a change that anticipates future difficulties, threats and opportunities. So it is the deliberate design and implementation of structural innovation, a new policy or a goal or a change in operating philosophy, climate and style. Now the next topic is approaches to planned organizational change. The first approach is structural change. Organization structure is organizational design which defines authority and responsibility relationship, communication system, centralization and decentralization, division of job into smaller units, and integration of individual and group tasks to achieve the organization goal. So the organizational structure does not remain static. It is dynamic in nature and changes according to the requirement of internal and external environment. So organizational change can be done with changing the structure of the organization. Then come technological changes. Organizational design can be changed with the change in the technology in the organization. So technology refers to tools, equipment, processes, knowledge and technology to produce goods and services. Technological change refers to change in aspect of technology to improve the goods and services and add new product to the existing line of goods and services. Technological change will actually help to compete in the domestic as well as in international market, and technological changes also help in competing with the competitors. Then third is people or human resource changes. So organizational can be changed by changing the people or human resources. So structure or technological changes focus on task related activities. Human resource changes focus on changing the human behavior, skills, knowledge, attitude, belief to increase organizational performance. So, while changing human skill, knowledge, attitudes, we can change organizational design. So, this can be done by training and development. We can change behavior and knowledge of the people. Then by recruitment and selection. By changing recruitment and selection of people, or by recruiting or selecting people with the desired skill and knowledge. Then organizational development technique can be adopted to change behavior and attitude people towards the work environment. So there are three approaches of changing the organizational design. First was change by making changes in the structure of the organization. Second was by changing in the technology of the organization. Third was by changing human behavior, skill, knowledge, attitude of the people in the organization. Now these are the questions which are related to the above topics. If any query is there, please do contact me. Thank you so much.